Hey, what's up, guys? This is Adam T with the Dark Match Podcast and blog, giving you this week's 10-minute Raw Rundown. Monday Night Raw is coming to you live from Austin, Texas this week, and Brad Maddox kicked off the show by standing in the middle of the ring, calling out John Cena and Daniel Bryan to come down for their contract signing for their WWE title match at SummerSlam. Max would infer that Bryan doesn't have the credentials or what it takes to deserve a WWE title match, but he says he's going to give him the opportunity to prove he deserves it by competing in multiple matches tonight. John Cena did a lot of the talking here, mostly on Daniel Bryan's behalf. Alberto Del Rio took on Sheamus in the next match. Sheamus still feeling the effects of the injury he suffered at Money in the Bank, and Alberto Del Rio pretty much targeted that the entire match. Ended up beating with a roll-up, hooking Sheamus' injured leg. Booker T and Teddy Long had an interview next segment. Both claimed they should be general manager of SmackDown, Long saying Booker T was sitting on his lazy boy while Long was doing the heavy work. Long also said he had enough and he left. In the next match, Kristen took on Titus O'Neil and he won with the kill switch. Darren Young was at ringside, but he didn't really get involved or anything. I'm not sure why they keep having Darren Young out there as a part of a heel tag team when his friend Titus is in matches. He never gets involved. Next up, Mark Henry calls out the Shield. He says he's capable of dishing out the beating that he took last week. The Shield come out and attack Mark Henry again. He puts up a good fight at first, but then gets ganged up in the corner. The Usos come out and even the playing field. They help Henry clear the ring, and the Shield retreat. Looks like this is going to set up for a 6-man tag at SummerSlam. Dolph Ziggler takes on Darren Young in the next match. Ziggler looks great here. He delivers a great dropkick in this match. He ends up winning, beating Young with the zigzag. Big E and AJ come out. Ziggler sees it coming though, meets AJ with a bunch of punches. After a quick exchange, Ziggler throws Big E over the top rope. When E comes back in, Ziggler slides out, outquicking and outsmarting the pair. Next segment was Miz TV, so this is bathroom break time, boys. The Divas, though, were out to promote their new reality show, so do you want to miss the chance of seeing some hot chicks in scantily clad clothing? Who knows? Weird concept, though, because you're blurring the lines of reality and scripted television here. On one hand, we have WWE, which is obviously a scripted product, but we know that. That's fine. That's what we watch. On the other hand, you have the Divas show, which is supposed to be a quote-unquote reality show where they talk about their behind-the-scenes stuff working with WWE. So why would you promote that on a scripted show? It seems very weird. Obviously, they want people to watch the show, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly what kind of reality show this is before we jump to harsh criticisms. The segment itself was about as bad as one could expect, especially with The Miz doing most of the talking. He would, however, turn the mic over to Jerry Lawler, whose only job was to get slapped by Eva Marie. Brad Maddox is confronted in the back by Triple H. Triple H accuses Brad Maddox of having someone pulling his strings, so to speak. Pretty much says that Brad Maddox is pushing forward Vince McMahon's orders and way of thinking by saying that Daniel Bryan is not WWE champion material. Triple H also said that Maddox should get on his train and not the old train, which is a dead end. Cody Rhodes defeats Fandango with Crossroads in the next match, despite Damien Sandow, who was on commentary, who tried to interfere with the briefcase. Interesting pairing because of Fandango's face reaction week in and week out, and the fact that Cody is freshly turned face. But it didn't seem to have any ill effects, although putting Cody against true or heel could only have further helped him in his face turn. Up next, we had CM Punk in the ring with a mic. This doesn't get any better. He says Brock knocked him down, but he always gets back up. He says he's not afraid of Brock Lesnar, then he calls out Paul Heyman once again, saying he wants Brock at SummerSlam, the best versus the beast. Heyman interrupts via satellite and accepts. I like that CM Punk actually called out the satellite as being garbage here, because that's how we feel, the fans, whenever we see somebody on satellite doing a promo. He calls Brock Lesnar his best friend in the world, Paul Heyman does, and says the best is the beast. This hype is just icing on the cake. We all want to see this match, and it only sucks that SummerSlam is still almost a month away. Rob Van Dam takes on Wade Barrett in the next match and he ends up beating with the 5-star frog splash. This match was very basic, cut and dry, nothing special here. They probably aren't going to carry this forward into a feud or anything in the future. Now we come to the main event, Daniel Bryan in a gauntlet match. His first opponent would be Jack Swagger. Swagger gets heckled by the fans here in Austin, who would chant "OU sucks" twice during this match, but he didn't really respond. He did do the horns down sign hand gesture when he was on the outside of the ring, but he didn't really interact with the fans here. Really missed an opportunity to validate the audience and gain more heat with them. It's really basic stuff that gets overlooked on a regular basis here in the WWE. Regardless, Daniel Bryan wins the match with the Yes Lock via submission. Bryan's second opponent would be Antonio Cesaro, the other real American. These two put on an amazing match and gave us a nice action-packed teaser of what a pay-per-view match between them would be like. The crowd chanted "This is awesome" multiple times during the match. Bryan took a series of uppercuts from Cesaro that can only be described as dastardly, capped off by a vicious clothesline. Bryan still kicked out. He would end up winning with a roll-up after Cesaro threw him up, setting him up for a patented uppercut. Seriously, give these guys a feud, mix in a belt, put it on pay-per-view, give them 30 minutes, and let us sit back and enjoy. WWE, I'm telling you how to take my money. Just do it. Bryan's third opponent would be Ryback. After another decent match, Ryback would end up setting a table up outside and powerbomb Bryan through it, getting Ryback disqualified. Cena would come out and fend off Ryback after the match and challenge the Goldberg lookalike to a tables match next week on Raw, which he'd accept. Brad Maddox and Vince McMahon would be together in the back, devising up an opponent for Bryan next week. Vince said he wanted someone bigger and stronger than Bryan to bring out his vicious side, a best friend, perhaps. So Maddox would suggest Kane, and that match will be your main event next week. See you then, folks, on the Raw Rundown.